Let us recap what we have done in the previous video. We created deployment using kubectl create deployment name. We exposed that deployment using a service of type node port. We used the IP address of the worker node, here minikube, and the node port number to access the app running in the deployment. Now let us try to understand the problem associated with using the command kubectl create. If we use kubectl create, we have to mention all the specifications in the command. For example, about how to create a particular deployment and all the other specifications. This is practically tedious, as mentioning many specifications within command line flags is often confusing and messy. Here comes the use of configuration files as the solution to solve this problem. We could create configuration files, which are YAML files, preferably, and apply those configurations to create various Kubernetes components. For example, we can create a configuration file, say myenginespod.yaml, about how to create a deployment with pods and apply those configurations as follows. kubectl apply -f, the file name, which is myenginespods.yaml. Similarly, we can create other Kubernetes components such as services, replica sets, etc. Now let us have a look at the general structure of the YAML files used to configure these Kubernetes components. Kind is a keyword used to mention the resource that we want to create. Here, we are creating deployment resource. API version keyword is used to mention the API version of the resource we are creating. We need to look up the docs as this differs for each resource. Here, deployment API version is apps/v1. The metadata keyword mentions the metadata of the resource. Here, we specified name of the deployment and namespace it should belong to. The spec keyword mentions the specifications of the resource. Here, for the deployment, we can specify the number of pod replicas needed, what each pod of the deployment should do, which image they should use to form container, etc. Likewise, the specifications are specific to the kind of the resource we want to create. For example, unlike a deployment resource, a service resource doesn't have replicas attribute. Now, let us try to deploy a single container application, the Days app, which we have created in the very first series of the Docker Travis AWS video series. For that, let us try to understand about another Kubernetes component called namespace. It is a good practice to group resources in Kubernetes. We can group resources in Kubernetes with the help of namespace, which in turn is a resource. We can write the required configurations for the namespace, like name, and apply that YAML file in order to create that namespace. Let us understand how we mention the specifications of the deployment. The first keyword here is API version, which, as discussed previously, is the version of the Kubernetes API we are using to create this object called namespace. Here, since we want to create a namespace object, we write the same in kind. So kind means what kind of object you want to create. Next comes the metadata. Metadata is the data that helps uniquely identify the object like name string. Now let us understand how we mention the specifications of the deployment. The first keyword is the API version, which means version of the Kubernetes API we are going to use to create this deployment object. And the kind is deployment, since we want to create the deployment resource. The metadata contains the name and the namespace to which this particular deployment should belong to. So we are naming the deployment name as static web deployment, and we are mentioning that this particular deployment should belong to the sample namespace, which is nothing but the name of the namespace which we have mentioned previously in the namespace.yaml file. So basically we created this namespace with name sample, and we are telling that this deployment should belong to that sample namespace. Then spec. Spec is what state you desire for the object. The precise format for the object spec is different for every Kubernetes object as discussed previously, and contains nested fields specific to that object. In this deployment, we mentioned the main specifications under the spec keyword. They are replicas, template, and selector. Replicas indicate the number of desired pods that the deployment should always ensure to run. So as we have previously discussed, a deployment is an abstraction over pods which is used to manage the pods. So here to this deployment, we are telling that we always want to make sure that there are always 3 pods running. So we are giving that statement to this deployment so as to tell the deployment that you have to make sure that there are 3 pods running all the time. Next comes the template. Template describes the pods that will be created. Each pod again has the metadata and specifications. The metadata indicates the labels. These labels are further used by the deployment selector to group these pods into deployment. Secondly, the template also contains the specifications about the containers it should run. They are name of the container, image of the container from the remote container registry like Docker Hub, and the port to be opened by the container. The last specification about the deployment is the selector. This selector will be able to group the pods which it should group based on the labels of the pods. Simply, all those pods whose label key value pair matches with the selected key value pair are grouped. Now let us understand how we mention the specifications for service. The service too has API version and metadata. The metadata consists of the name of the service and the namespace to which it should belong to. And next comes the specifications of the service, where we define the type of service, ports, selector. Here, the service is of type node port, which allows us to access this application through browser or curl. Nextly, ports. The port 80 is something which is opened by the service inside the cluster, whereas the node port 31000 is the port through which we could access the application via browser or curl. Now, if you remember, when we have done the hands-on while using the Nginx deployment, we have seen that we are assigned with a random node port number. So if we don't mention the node port number here in the services, then it will be randomly assigned by Minikube. If we mention, that will be used. So this node port number should be basically in the range of 30,000 to 32,767. The last specification of the service is the selector. This service is associated with the deployment whose metadata consists the same key value pair in its labels as that mentioned here in the selector. So in order to understand more about label selector, basically this service is pertained to these pods. This statement is claimed by the labels and selectors. It is through this label selector mechanism that the deployment finds its pods to manage them, as shown in the green arrow. Very similarly, it is through this label selector mechanism that this service finds the pods as shown in the blue arrow. This is to enable communication to or from them. It is important to remember that the labels are defined in the metadata, and the selectors are mentioned in the specifications. Now let's deploy the single container application. Go to console. So I have created a folder in my desktop, which is named as K8s. And in this K8s folder, I'm going to write all these files using Sublime Text Editor. And I'm going to apply all those configurations mentioned in those files so as to get these Kubernetes resources like deployment, service, and the namespace. So I'm also going to Sublime Text Editor where I can write the code. So I'm going to create a new file, save it using Control and S in K8s, and I'm going to create the namespace resource first. So I'm writing namespace.yaml, and I'm going to paste that code which we have discussed previously. So basically this namespace has these attributes: API version, kind, metadata, and name. So I'm saving it. Nextly, I'm going to create a new file named deployments under the same folder, deployment.yaml. And then I'm going to use the same code which we have discussed previously, which has the API and kind, the metadata with name and namespace, the specifications with the number of replicas, and the template for the pod. That is, the pod should be associated with the labels app, days, app, and specifications are it should run the containers with the image Vagdevi/my first app image 1.1. So this is the initial static website which we have built in the first Docker series videos. So please go through that. And we are giving the name of the container to be days app container, and we are opening the 80 port of this container. And remember that the labels are always mentioned in the metadata, and the selector is always mentioned in the specifications. So it is through this label and selector mechanism where these labels are matched. So match labels. This label called app days app key value pair. This is matched with this pod so that this deployment knows that these pods should be grouped by it. Okay. And also when we are going to create a service, it also will have the selector and its specifications, and through the labels, like the key value pair label, which we are going to mention in the selector of the service, it will be understanding that that service will be associated with these pods. Okay, so first save this, and then let us proceed to create the service. Save it, and within the same folder, service.yaml, and I'm going to use the same code which we have discussed previously, and save it. So we have opened port and node port selector. Through this selector, it will know that this service is associated with these ports. Okay, the name of the service is the same. So now that we have already created these YAML files, it is the time that we apply this configuration so that we will be having the Kubernetes resources which we desire by writing in this configuration files. Okay, so basically we want to get the namespace resource, deployment resource, and the service resource. For these resources, we have defined how they should be in these YAML files. And we will get those resources only when we apply them. So we use kubectl apply. So there are basically two ways to apply. The first one is using the whole directory, which is K8s. So in this K8s, we have all the files, all the YAML files, right? So the deployment, namespace, and service YAML files are there. So whatever the YAML files are there, those configurations will be used when we just write kubectl apply minus F indicating the files, and dot. Dot means the current directory. So whatever the YAML files are there in the current directory, it will be directly applying those configurations to create those respective resources. This is one way. And the second way is to individually apply each file, like the namespace minus F namespace.yaml and deployment and service. So we can choose any ways. Okay, so these are created. Then let us get the list of deployments, namespace, and services to make sure that these are created. kubectl get ns, which means namespace. So the sample namespace is created. Then deployment. So the deployment is not created. So can you guess why? It is because we haven't given the namespace from which we want to get the deployments. Okay, so when we don't mention the namespace, it will be getting all the deployments from the default namespace in the Minikube. So we can tell that I want to get the deployments and services which are pertain to this particular namespace. So now that we are using the sample namespace, and we have mentioned those, and we have mentioned that this service and deployment should belong to this sample namespace only, we have to look for these resources only in the sample namespace. Only then we will find it. So kubectl get deployment minus n indicating namespace sample. So now we can see that this is created. And similarly, we can look at the service also. Okay, so this is created. Node port and this one. All right. So we can see the way to get these resources and also apply those resources. But if we want to delete all these resources, we can also do that. So let us delete all the resources which we have created in the K8's YAML files. Okay, so it is very similar. kubectl delete minus F dot, which means delete all the Kubernetes components which are created based on the files present in this current directory. We want to delete all those resources. Okay, hit on enter. So we can see that these are deleted. So it is taking some time because it is making sure that everything is clean and clean. Okay. All right, seems to be deleted. Now let us again go to namespaces, get the list of namespaces. So we can no longer see the namespace sample here. So let us check if any deployments and services are also there under this particular namespace. So no resources found in sample namespace because the sample namespace itself is not existing. Okay, now let us again create these resources. And this time let us apply all the files in the same directory directly without individually applying them. Okay, so here we can see that namespace is created, service is created, error from server, error when creating deployment namespaces. So it seems to be creating through the file names which are ordered alphabetically, and that is the reason D comes the first. And we mentioned in the deployment that we want to create this deployment under namespace sample. But by the time the namespace.yaml file is not yet read, right? So that is the reason deployment is not yet created at that time. But we can see that service is created because N comes after D and S comes after N. So now if we again apply the same, we can see that the deployment is now created. Okay. So now let us get the deployment again under the sample. So it says the same. It is created 10 seconds ago. Similarly, let us also get the service. Okay. So it is of type node port and we told that we want to access it through 31,000 port. Okay, so let us get the URL of the service, which is nothing but the Minikube IP colon this node port. If you remember, we have discussed this previously. So let us get the Minikube IP just to cross check. So this is the Minikube IP, and then Minikube service minus URL minus n sample. Okay, sorry, we should also specify the service name, right? Service, and the service name is this one. Okay, so this is the expected thing, where this part is the Minikube IP and this is the node port. Okay, so now let us curl this. So this is the days app. So we can see the days app and the page which it should be redirected. So now let us go to the browser and check the same. So paste the URL. Okay. So if you remember, this is the static website which we have initially created in the first series of videos of Docker. Click this, it shows this. All right.